He walked into the fire. His friend survived. He did not. June 12th, 1944. 6 days after D-Day, the Allied armies are on the beaches of Normandy. They are alive but fragile, a thin line of men and machines clinging to a strip of French coast while everything Germany has tries to push them back into the sea. What keeps that line from collapsing is not only the soldiers on the ground. It is what happens every night above them. 600 Lancaster bombers cross the English Channel in darkness. They fly in streams, loosely organized, each aircraft separated from the next by enough space to avoid collision, but close enough that the formation fills miles of sky. From the ground, on a clear night, they are a sound before they are anything else, a low, constant thunder that builds from a murmur to something physical, something you feel in your chest before you hear it properly. Above them, the searchlights come up. Dozens of beams cutting through the dark from every direction, moving, searching, locking onto a shape and holding it, turning the aircraft from a shadow into a lit target visible for miles. The light is blinding inside the cockpit. Pilots fly into it, knowing that somewhere in the darkness beyond the beams, the flak batteries are tracking them. Lancaster KB-726 is somewhere in the middle of the stream. Pilot Art de Bruyne holds his heading. His crew is 7 men. His mid-upper gunner is Andrew Mynarski, 27 years old, born in Winnipeg. He gave his friend Pat Brophy a 4-leaf clover that morning before they walked to the aircraft. "For luck," he said. Brophy put it in his pocket. There is something the Lancaster crews are not supposed to know, and most of them don't, because the ones who find out rarely come back to tell anyone. The Junkers Ju-88 night fighter carries a weapon called Schräge Musik, oblique music, jazz. The name was chosen by the Germans with a dark sense of humor. It is a pair of cannons mounted in the fuselage of the fighter, angled upward at roughly 70 degrees. The Ju-88 approaches from below and slightly behind, flying in the blind spot under the Lancaster's belly where no defensive guns can reach, and fires upward into the wings and fuel tanks without ever appearing in the bomber's field of view. The Lancaster crew never sees the fighter. They never hear it over the sound of their own engines. The first thing they know is the explosion. Unteroffizier Werner Stein is below KB-726 tonight. He has done this before. He lines up his shot, the dark shadow of the Lancaster above him against the slightly lighter sky, and fires. The cannons strike the left wing. The fuel tank goes first. Not a small fire. An eruption. Burning aviation fuel sprays back along the fuselage in a fine mist that catches immediately. The inside of the aircraft fills with the smell of burning oil and the orange light of a fire that is growing faster than anyone can stop it. De Bruyne's voice on the intercom. "Abandon aircraft, abandon aircraft." The crew moves, the escape hatches open. Men clip on parachutes in the dark, and the smoke and the heat. The nose gunner goes, the bomb aimer goes, De Bruyne himself goes. One by one, the crew exits KB-726 into the night sky over France. Andrew Mynarski is at the mid-upper turret. He rotates it, climbs out, clips his chute, and moves toward the rear escape hatch. That is when he sees Pat Brophy. Brophy is the rear gunner. His turret has taken a hit, and the rotation mechanism has jammed. The doors are hydraulic, and with the hydraulics gone, he cannot open them from inside. He is locked in a plexiglass bubble at the tail of a burning aircraft that is beginning to go into a dive. He can see Mynarski at the escape hatch. Mynarski can see him. For a fraction of a second, neither man moves. Then, Mynarski moves, but not toward the hatch, back into the aircraft, back through the fire. The fuselage is burning. The hydraulic fluid has ignited, and the floor is covered in flame. Mynarski walks through it. His uniform catches. His legs are on fire. He reaches the turret and grabs the manual rotation gear and pulls. The turret does not move. He finds a fire axe. He swings it at the turret doors. The metal holds. He tries the manual gear again. He tries the doors again. His parachute is burning. His hands are burning. He is on fire, and he keeps working. Pat, get out, get out. Brophy can hear him through the plexiglass. He can see the fire on Mynarski's uniform. He screams at him to go, to save himself, that there is nothing more he can do. Mynarski does not go. He tries the doors again. He tries the gear again. The aircraft is now in a steeper dive, and the flames are pulling toward the tail, and Mynarski is burning, and he cannot get the turret open. Finally, when there is nothing left to try, when the fire has taken too much, Mynarski stops. He looks at Brophy through the plexiglass. He straightens. His uniform is in flames. He raises his right hand in a salute. "Good night, sir," he says. Then he turns and walks back through the fire to the escape hatch and jumps. Pat Brophy is alone in the tail of KB-726. The aircraft is in a steep dive. The fire is spreading. Below him is France, occupied France, June 1944, 5 miles up in the dark. He has no way out and no reason to believe he is going to survive the next 60 seconds. He puts his hands on his knees and waits. What happens next defies the arithmetic of the situation. KB-726 strikes the ground, or rather, it strikes the treetops of a French forest at an angle. The impact tears the aircraft apart. The explosion is visible for miles. The full fuel load and bomb load detonate. The tail section, where Brophy is, breaks free on impact. The turret tears away from the aircraft. The physics of the breakup, the precise angle, the trees absorbing some of the impact, the separation of the tail, throws the turret clear of the explosion. Pat Brophy lands in a French field. He is shaken. He is disoriented. He does not have a single significant wound. He stands up in a French field at 2 a.m, and he is alive, and Andrew Mynarski is not, and he will carry that knowledge for the rest of his life. Andrew Mynarski's parachute is burning when he jumps. French civilians on the ground see him falling, a man trailing fire through the night sky. He lands near the village of Cambrai. The burns cover most of his body. He is found by French villagers who do what they can. He dies of his burns before morning. He is 27 years old. Debrain and 4 others from the crew are captured after landing in occupied France. They spend the rest of the war as prisoners. Some of the crew are helped by the French resistance and eventually make it back to England. Brophy is captured. He spends months in a German prison camp. He survives the war. He comes home. For the rest of his life, and he lives a long life, Pat Brophy tells the story of what Andrew Mynarski did, not because anyone asked him to, because Mynarski walked into a fire, and the only thing Brophy can give him in return is the truth about what happened. It is Brophy's testimony that leads to the award. Without him, no one would know. The Lancaster burned. Most of the crew were prisoners. The French witnesses saw a man on fire falling from the sky, but they did not know his name. Without Brophy, without the man Mynarski tried to save, There is no record of what was done. Andrew Mynarski is awarded the Victoria Cross posthumously. The citation describes what he did in the measured language of official commendation, an officer who attempted to save a fellow crew member at the cost of his own life. It does not describe the smell of burning oil. It does not describe the four-leaf clover. It does not describe what it costs a man to walk back into a fire and keep trying until there is nothing left to try. Pat Brophy knows what it costs. He saw it through plexiglass. He carries it until he dies. 600 bombers flew that night. Most of them came home. One man jumped from a burning aircraft and survived. One man walked back into the fire. The one who walked back into the fire is the one we remember.